But Farage said that 10 years ago. Actually, it was 13. But I'm not here to build up your arguments, I'm here to knock them down. So if I show you a video of Nigel Farage saying he doesn't like how the NHS works and that we should move to an insurance-based system where he, as a multi-millionaire, would get more value for money, and your response is, but he said that 10 years ago. Obviously he doesn't want that now, he just doesn't want it funded through general taxation. Then the premise of your argument is that we should trust that whatever Nigel Farage says now during the campaign is exactly what he'll do if he ever gets his way and gets into power. And this is why what I need people to understand about Nigel Farage is he's applying for a job, the job of Prime Minister. And when you're applying for a job, what you look at is that person's CV. And there is only one thing on Nigel Farage's CV, and that is Brexit. It is the only policy that he has campaigned for years that has been implemented. So if we're trying to decide whether or not we should trust that what Nigel Farage says during a campaign is exactly what he'll do if he wins the election, then Brexit is exactly where we should start. Because when he was campaigning for Brexit and people were worried that leaving the EU would create trade barriers with our European supply chains and make us poorer, he reassured people by saying this.
If Norway, Iceland and Switzerland can get deals that suit them, we can do something far, far better than that.
Would you want access to the single market?
I would want access to the single market.
So he sold Brexit by promising that leaving the EU would involve getting an amazing trade deal with the EU that would include single market access. But then after the referendum, he switched to this.
No deal is the best deal. It's the only acceptable deal.
And remember, there is no major economy on the planet that doesn't have a trade deal with its closest neighbors. So by supporting no deal, he was supporting doing something that every successful economy on the planet has chosen specifically not to do. But to get us to back Brexit in the first place, he promised that there would be a really good trade deal with the EU that wouldn't damage our trade. So the only thing on Nigel Farage's CV involves him promising to make only minor changes to a policy that is critical to the UK's well-being, and then once he wins the vote, switching to the most extreme version of it. And yet your argument is that we should ignore that Nigel Farage has already said he doesn't want the NHS to exist anymore because he wants an insurance-based system of healthcare, and that whatever he says now about the NHS is exactly what he'd do if he ever became Prime Minister. If you're willing to believe that, then I have some really terrible news for you about the Tooth Fairy.